Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Eat, drink, party harder.
I love Bend and Scoop, man.
You want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Bend and Scoop.
Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit.
Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 72. Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Visit one of the now 6 great Harder Concepts locations in DFW, including Scruffy Duffy's, Ringo's Pub, and the brand new Bottle Rockets, all at the Shops at Legacy in Plano, Saintsbury Tavern at Austin Ranch in the Colony, the Mucky Duck at Addison Circle in Addison, and Addison Ice House at Vitruvian Park in Addison. All Harder Concepts locations have great food, live music, an amazing beer and spirit selection, and a wait staff that's second to none. Whether you want to hang out with old friends or meet some new ones, there's no better place to get together and watch your favorite sports or hear some awesome tunes. Eat, drink, party harder. Joining us at the end of the show to play a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer in the Groovin' After Party will be our special guest, Brian Colburn from the Playlist Wars podcast. We spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is the Princeton Record Exchange in Princeton, New Jersey. You can follow them on Twitter at PREXmusic, on Instagram at Princeton_record_exchange, on Facebook at Princeton.record.exchange, and you can check out their website at prex.com. Kicking things off from Portland by way of LA is a band called Patsy's Rats. From their 2018 album Singles, this is Rock and Roll Friend.
Got kinda lost this evening, and out there in the night.
66.
She don't really love you, dude. She's just making the rounds. Better change your attitude. She's gonna let you down. She's gonna make you feel like this was meant to be, just like she did to me. She don't really love you, dude, but it's a wild ride. If she gets in a bad mood, you better run and hide. She's gonna break your heart if love is on the line, just like she did to mine, to mine, to mine, to mine. Hey man, I hate to break it to you, but fact is, she doesn't love anybody. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love you, buddy. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love nobody. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love you, buddy. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love nobody. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love you, buddy. She don't really love you, dude. She don't really love nobody.
From Madrid, in Spain, that was Kurt Baker with She Don't Really Love You, Dude, from his 2020 album After Party. Campfire Songs is a podcast where I get together with my buddies Todd, Jim, and Tom to share and discuss songs with each other. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Songs Campfire and give us a listen for more great music. From Portland, here's Summer Cannibals with their 2019 album Can't Tell Me No, which features this one, False Anthem.
I can see through you, I can see through them. Go play your false anthems of empowerment. It's just so easy to hate them, the goddamn government. You stand so tall when there's no chance to fall. They watch you cower at just the thought. They're standing up to a man who loves the power of abuse as much as he loves you.
Aunt Belle recently passed away, didn't she, son?
Yes, she did. Yeah.
Are you still grieving in your heart, son?
Absolutely.
And even her generous gift to you of the ancestral home, the beautiful Belle Isle, has not eased the grief, pain, and suffering in your heart, now has it?
Not a hell of a lot, no.
Erwin, admit that you are a sinner.
Well, I've sinned. Didn't take any Polaroids or anything, but I've sinned, yeah.
The Lord forgives you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. What? Other sins? Well, I parked in a handicap spot on my way over here. Actually, on a handicapped person. I told him I'd be out in 5 minutes, so that's not such a big deal.
From Seattle, that was Lisa Prank. Off her 2019 album Perfect Love Song, that was Rodeo. Have you ever wanted to host a podcast? Well, all you have to do to join the Mike Hunt and host your very own episode of Assume the Juxtaposition is send me your topic idea to lukewarmtallboy@gmail.com. You can follow Assume the Juxtaposition on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at AssumeTJPod. Here are the Rabies from Brooklyn with their 2020 single, Adderall Girl.
She said, LOL, but I was serious. It's just as well. A second guess too much, yeah. A pinpoint razor focus. She's my optimum dosage. when she's near. There is no distraction, everything is clear. Epinephrine satisfaction, sweet, sweet, sweet concentration, my little blue sensation. Adderall girl, Adderall girl, there's nothing better in the world. She's my Adderall girl. It's 3 a.m. and I'm lonely, but it's alright. In the morning, I'll be high. Adderall girl, Adderall girl, I feel a change in my world. She's my Adderall girl. She's out of this world. She's my Adderall girl. Deliver me from a shattered world. She's my Adderall girl.
WNCT, most music. Please, Mr. Neighbor, won't you leave me alone? I only got one song and it won't be long. Ain't got no space, no studio. Oh, please, Mr. Neighbor, can you take some more? Please, please, pretty please, 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 pretty please. I know to you I ain't got no soul, and all the good music is 40 years old. Well, I agree, yeah, I agree. Now a little bit of noise is coming out of me. Please, please, pretty please, 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 pretty please. Oh, please, Mr. Neighbor, I'm a honest fool. This is all I can do, this is all I can do. Well, I see the cop car pulling around. I'm not the back door, nothing gonna go down. Please, please, pretty please, 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 pretty please.
From Memphis, that was River City Tan Lines. Off their 2012 album Coast to Coast, that was Pretty Please. How Many is a podcast where I get together with my friends Jesse, Junior, Gary, and Scott to debate a variety of pop culture topics, including movies, sports, TV, music, and more. You can follow How Many on Twitter at How Many Podcast and listen at howmanypodcast.com. From Austin, here's Otis Wilkins with a 2020 single called Charlene.
But Charlie, you feel pretty with your people. Charlie, you feel pretty with your people. Some of your clothes don't fit. Some of your clothes don't fit. You always had that lisp. Some of your clothes don't fit. But Charlie, you feel pretty with your people. But Charlie, you feel pretty with your people. Never turn your headlights on. Ooh. You never turn your headlights on. Ooh. You feel pretty with your people. Pretty with your people.
Are you the head honcho?
That's right, sir. Headley Dan Duke. And what seems to be your problem?
The problem is I agreed to take a shitload of that Bluebird crap off of your hands, and it ain't come yet.
I'm very sorry, sir, and you are...
I are pissed. Some damn fool told me it was on back order and I'd have to wait. Whose signature is this? Who signed that?
Well, I can't...
Well, that's the trouble. It's typical of a large corporation. Lack of communication. That's why I like to keep Everest small.
Oh, you're from Everest.
Now you're talking. Elmer Gantry, Elmer Fudd Gantry.
Well, Mr. Gantry, I'm not sure there's anything I can do.
Well, you could pull my file instead of standing there pulling your pud.
Whatever you say, sir. Bring me the Everest file.
Yes, sir.
I apologize for my bellicosity. I've had a hernia operation. Is that the stuff I'm supposed to get?
Yes, sir.
Why are they wearing those funny suits?
Well, they're protective, as you know. That's a very corrosive byproduct they're handling.
Oh, yeah. Because if they didn't wear those suits, those boys would be so full of holes, they'd whistle when they walked. Oh, I've been spitting up blood, pissing blood, bleeding. Go through 5 of these suits a day.
Well, it appears that you have your facts wrong, Mr. Gantry. Your company is supposed to get 1,500 gallons. Destination someplace called Belle Isle in Louisiana. Signed for by an officer of your company and due the 23rd. So, we're right and you're wrong.
Let me see that. Takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. I am not a big man.
From Boise, that was Frankie Tillo with his self-titled 2020 album, That Was Beautiful Day. Pausable Deniability is a monthly podcast I co-host with my pal David Miller, which you can follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Pause Deny. We post new episodes on the first day of every month. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the show, when we'll be joined in the Groovin' After Party by our special guest Brian Colburn from the Playlist Wars podcast. From Philadelphia, here is Star Moles. From the 2021 album Camelot, this is Bloodhounds, Bad News Babe.
Thank you for listening. We're going to begin the new X-Rock 80 with a no commercial weekend. All music, no commercials, for the rest of tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
I was hanging
From Madison, Wisconsin, that was The Hussy. Off 2019's Looming, that was Hung Up Circle. If you want to listen to all this great music without having to hear me ramble between songs, be sure to check out our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist. If we played it and they have it, you can listen to it there. And if you enjoy listening to what we do here on Bend and Scoop, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really enjoy what we do here at Bend and Scoop and would like to show your support, please feel free to drop a little something in our virtual tip jar at patreon.com/bendscoop. No matter how dead Chevy Chase's career might be, it will never change the fact that Fletch lives.
He was America's greatest investigative reporter. And now, he's back.
Any mail for me?
Fletch lives. He's a master of disguise.
Elmer Gantry, Elmer Fudd Gantry.
This house is obviously infested with reticulariums mariaquomos.
Well, what's that?
What's what?
And a dedicated professional.
I quit.
Rumor has it that you have inherited a sizable piece of property.
Mr. Fletcher?
As far as you know, what can I do for you?
There's been a murder.
Was she feeling all right last night?
Felt great to me.
And Fletch is the prime suspect.
You feel like making a statement? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Demons out!
He's willing to try anything.
That's great.
Risk everything.
Bend over. Ben, nice to meet you. Victor Hugo.
And stop at nothing.
Hold on tight!
Chevy Chase. Fletch lives.
Chevy Chase in the 1980s, he was loved by all the ladies, 'cause he was funny and he was cool. Every kid who went to my school wanted to be like Chevy Chase, with that look upon his face. I remember riding on the bus, talking all about spies like us. And sometimes I would get annoyed by those who preferred Dan Aykroyd, but there weren't all that many of them. With Chevy Chase, he had his moment, 1984 through 88, when everything he did was absolutely great. Spies like us and Fletch, and don't forget about Vacation. With Funny Farm, his prime reached its culmination. Then things began to wane, and it made me feel some pain in my poor weak little heart every time he accepted a part. And a few months into his late night show, Fox told him it was time to go. Now we only see him in occasional cameos. Do I still love him? Yes, yes, yes. 'Cause I can just pick up a VHS and watch him trying to impress, or watch him cheating on a test, or riding the big heist. Oh yes, I've watched that more than twice. Those were the days for Chevy Chase. Those were the days for Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase.
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me now for our Groovin' After Party here on Bend and Scoop is Brian Colburn from the Playlist Wars podcast. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, Bob. Thank you so much for having me on, man. Very excited about this.
Yeah, me too. Now, tell everybody a little bit about Playlist Wars. I listened to an episode that you guys recently did on the 90s one-hit wonders and really enjoyed that. One of the ones that wasn't on the list, but that got mentioned by some of the responses that you guys got was Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something. A couple months back, actually had one of the members of that band on this very segment. He and another guy co-host a podcast up here in Dallas, a music podcast. So it was kind of like, oh, wow, that was the first thing I honed in on, was because the first thing I think of when I think of 90s one-hit wonders is them, that's, and Tripping Daisy, you guys mentioned them. They're also from around here as well. So yeah, that was a really great, entertaining episode. So tell everybody about the show.
Well, first, thank you very much for the kind words on that. And yeah, Deep Blue Something's an awesome group. I absolutely love that song. Playlist Wars can easily be described kind of in our tagline: one topic, 3 playlists, you decide which is best. And basically the premise of the show, Gomez and I, we've been best friends for 25 plus years. And we bring on a special guest, be it from another podcast or a musician or just a friend of ours. And we each create a playlist that's themed around a topic of the evening. So it could be anything from Metallica to 90s one-hit wonders, like you were talking about. All genres are open, and we each create what we feel are the 10 songs that best represent that topic. And then we kind of do a roundtable discussion where we go through them one by one, see where we align, see where we differ, and kind of have commentary and discussion about it. And then at the end of the episode, we turn it over to the listeners to vote for which one of the 3 of us they feel, quote unquote, got it right. And then every 10 episodes on our website, playlistwarspodcast.com, we reveal the winners of those episodes, and people can vote at that website as well. So once they're voting, every 10 episodes, we do a kind of a results episode, and we go through saying who won those, and then we move on to the next round.
I mean, it's a fantastic concept. Really allows you to get participation and engagement from the folks that are listening. I really love that idea, man. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. It's one of those ideas where I've been a music nerd for many, many, many years, and I'm sure we're going to go down this rabbit hole in a second here, but I could talk about music all day long. And this show is kind of a great excuse to be able to do that, because we get to bring in the people that respond to us on Twitter, and we try to mention them in the show and kind of loop them into the conversation, because we don't just want the people listening to feel like they're hearing us say what our thoughts are. They have thoughts too, and we try to weave it all in. So it's kind of this universal discussion in between the 3 of us on the show, as well as those listening, kind of bringing them into that conversation with us.
Yeah. And that's really one of the best things about music, is being able to talk about it and kind of share with others, and that's really kind of what we do with this podcast, is focus on indie music and indie rock. And we're really trying to promote and focus unknown or lesser known artists and just increase awareness. I mean, most of the guys I'm friends with, they've been stuck in like a classic rock loop for years and probably don't listen to much that's come out since 2000. So that's really the focus of my podcast, is trying to get them aware that there's still good stuff coming out that they probably don't know about. So, I mean, it's just great to talk about and share music with other people. And one of the things I want to do is to learn a little bit more about your own personal musical journey. And what we're going to do now is we're going to play around with something we like to call Is That Your Vinyl Answer? And we've got a set of questions here we want to go with here, Brian. Starting off, what is the first record that you remember buying with your own money back when you were a kid?
All right. Well, I'm going to do my answers twofold for this one, because there are 2 times I purchased music for what I felt was the first time that I vividly remember. And the first one is my first ever vinyl LP record, which was Weird Al Yankovic's Dare to Be Stupid album.
Awesome.
And then I felt like, as I was coming into my own musically, growing up through grammar school and middle school, the first time I got a CD player, I felt like it was really where I became a music consumer, where I needed to go to the music store all the time. And the first 2 CDs I bought, I'll never forget: The Best of the Doors Double Greatest Hits and Aerosmith's Pandora's Box.
Wow. Yeah. And that was a box set, right? The Pandora's Box. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I figured I wanted it. I had a single disc changer, but I kind of wanted to feel like I just don't want to listen to the same 2 CDs over and over again. So I went, and on my first time buying CDs, I bought 5 between The Best of the Doors and Pandora's Box. So it gave me plenty of lists, but I probably, for the first month, those CDs were just in a nonstop rotation.
Now, do you remember where you bought those CDs and where you bought the Weird Al record?
I certainly do. The Weird Al record I bought from a local indie record shop in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, named Music Merchant. They were there for many years. I think there's still an iteration of the store in a different town now, but it's no longer in Hasbrook Heights. And that was the one that it was a 1.5 to 2 mile walk, but I was able to walk there.
Oh, cool.
So I was able to, take the hike, walk down there, and walk back with new tunes. So that was kind of my go-to indie store. The CDs I actually remember purchasing from it was a East Coast chain called Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I bought those there because it was the same night that for my birthday present, my parents bought me my first CD player. So I needed something. So I used my birthday money, which was at that point my own money, to burn on a bunch of CDs to go with the CD player.
Fantastic. Now, do you by any chance still have any of those CDs or that record?
Oh, by all means. Yeah. Dare to Be Stupid is framed on my wall.
Nice.
In the family room. And The Doors and Aerosmith's Pandora's Box have never left my CD collection. I still have them, and I still listen to them a lot because believe it or not, because they're my first CDs, there comes a hint of nostalgia with it beyond the nostalgia of the music itself. It's a nostalgia for the time that I went out and bought these, and they're my first CDs. They're like my babies.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Now, who do you own the most albums by, and which of theirs is your favorite?
All right. Well, if you count, a lot of times in the early 2000s, prior to there being the ability to just go on like nugs.net and download concerts after they happen, certain bands would go and do concerts where they would have something called Instant Live.
Yeah.
And you'd watch the concert, and a half hour after the concert, they'd hand you a 2 or 3 CD set of the show. So if you factor that in, the band I own the most albums by is Blues Traveler with 33 CDs.
Okay.
And that includes their concerts. My favorite would be 2003's Truth Be Told.
All right.
This is not the album that has the hits Run Around and Hook on it or The Mountains Win Again. This came out several years after Run Around, almost 8 years after the point. The bassist at the time, oh my God, my brain. The bassist for Blues Traveler had passed away. Mm-hmm. And for an album called Bridge, they brought on Tad Kinchela on bass and Ben Wilson on keyboards. And they kind of created this new sound. And Bridge was a fantastic album. But Truth Be Told was just one of those musical albums to me. It was very singer-songwritery. The songs had a bit of an edge to it. There were no radio hits on it. And to me, that was kind of what I loved about it the most. They were all easily accessible pop rock radio tracks, but there was something about this album that just resonated with me. And I don't think it left my CD player in my car for a good 6 months.
Fantastic. Yeah. And hard to have something like that get old because you're not getting worn out by hearing the songs on the radio ad nauseum.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, is there a specific album by Blues Traveler or any artist that you've purchased more times than any other over the years?
Yes, definitely. And that one is easy to answer because I've talked about this album on 2 other podcasts, actually. It's my favorite album of all times, and it is The Cars' self-titled album.
Oh, okay.
So I own the original vinyl, which was passed down to me from my parents. Yep. I own the original Japan pressing CD that I actually just found in the last year. I was very excited to find that one because that's the first pressing of it on CD. The HD CD remaster that came out around 2000, the Rhino Deluxe Edition 2 CD set, and the Steve Hoffman Master DCC Gold CD version. It's the only time I ever purchased a gold CD, but this is my favorite album of all time, and I've heard that the Steve Hoffman Master was the gold standard, no pun intended, with the color of the disc. It really is. It's a gorgeous mastering, just perfect dynamics. It really just brings out the bass and the other things that might have felt a little flatter if you didn't have the original vinyl on some of the other CD versions. So I had to have that one as well.
Yeah, if you're going to pony up, might as well do it for your favorite album of all time, for sure. And that her strong argument could be made for that being the greatest debut record by any band ever. It's got to be in the top 5, if not number 1.
I swear, I would honestly say it would be number one. I know there's a lot of people that would argue Led Zeppelin. I know there's a lot of people that would argue Boston self-titled.
Van Halen.
I mean, you could make arguments for any of those, but the Cars ushered in a new genre of music. It really introduced new wave, which is kind of the way like the initial Black Sabbath album, you could say, is kind of the birth of heavy metal. So that one could be another one you can even mention in the greatest debut albums.
Yeah. The thing that's great about that Cars record is it's of its time, but it's also timeless. Like you can listen to it and you immediately know when it was released, and it sounds like you said it introduced new wave, but it doesn't sound dated at all. You can still listen to it now and it still sounds fresh and vibrant, and it doesn't sound like a lot of records that new wave records you listen to now and they just reek of the 80s or the late 70s, but that one it's timeless.
Yeah, it's got a punk edge to it. It's got a singer-songwriter edge to it. It's got, you bring in Elliot Easton's almost 50s style playing of guitar overlaying it, and then you bring in things like Greg Hawkes' saxophone. I mean, really, like a saxophone in new wave music, but they make it work. As weird as it sounds, they make it work, and they make it work well.
Yeah, they really, really do. Now, who do you know with the largest vinyl collection, Brian, and what size is yours currently?
Well, I currently own about 200 vinyl records.
That's pretty impressive. That's a good size.
The reason that I only buy vinyl now for albums that I love start to finish.
Yes, no filler, nothing you have to skip. Exactly. I have the same principle.
So that's what it has to be for me to own it on vinyl. CDs are a different story. I own are just closing in on 4,000 right now.
Wow.
But I will buy a CD for one song. I don't care. I just want to own a copy, support the artist. That to me, I feel like there's much more in buying a CD or a vinyl from an artist than there is streaming.
Sure.
Just because I know that the money that goes into it. My buddy Sean, who's a host of a podcast, Who's Your Band? He owns over 750 records. And my buddy Dave, who I've known since high school, has over 500. We always go to music shops together, Dave and I, over the years. And, I'll go towards the CDs. He'll go towards the vinyl. But if he finds a vinyl that he knows I love the whole album of, he'll hold it up and I'll be like, bring it over.
Brian, what's your favorite mom and pop record shop?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the one that I've frequented for the longest amount of time. And that would be the Princeton Record Exchange in Princeton, New Jersey. Just based on the sheer volume, they have an entire wall that stretches the length of the store that's $1.99 to $4.99 CDs.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just a treasure trove. And what's beautiful about the store is I used to live a few minutes from there. And when I did, I was there no less than 3 to 4 times a week. And you would think, well, he's just digging through the same albums over and over again, or the same CDs. Every time I went in there, it was a new selection. The turnover in the store is just something that it's just fascinating to me. So every time I go in there, it's a brand new experience. So I feel like I'm walking in, looking at their inventory for the first time.
Yeah. And I really want to get up there one of these days. That's the one store that's been mentioned more times than any other from the guests of this podcast. So it definitely sounds like it's a place you got to go for sure.
It is amazing. Now I'm talking from the CDs perspective, but I bought so much vinyl there over the years as well. They have, but you gotta be flexible because, they have bins on the ground. So you gotta be able to just pop a squat and have a seat and start digging, flipping through with your fingers. People are over you looking in the bins overhead. I mean, it can get crowded in there. So I would suggest finding an off time to go in where you could really, make the most of the time there. Cause I've brought buddies from out of state there. That's kind of like my go-to, like, where's a music store? Here's where we're going. And we'll be in there for 2 hours and they'll be like, I'm not even starting yet. You got to bring me back here with a whole day.
Yeah. You really could kill an entire day in a place like that. Brian, what is your all-time favorite cover song?
This one is tough. If you listen to Playlist Wars, you know that cover songs are my go-to thing. When we're talking about a tune, I love to introduce anytime I know a cover of it. I have a playlist on my phone with over 1,500 cover songs on it. There's something I just love about a good cover. So to narrow it down to one is pretty much impossible, but I'm going to go with one that is both a live experience and an album that I own, because I think that kind of elevates the cover more than just one that I've heard through listening on CD or, through YouTube or word of mouth. And that was the Love for Levon show. It was a benefit when Levon Helm from the band passed away. They did a
Yeah.
benefit in New Jersey, and it was a who's who of artists. They did it at the Izod Center, and it was just, I mean, Robert Randolph, Joe Walsh, oh my God, I can't Don was the musical producer. You had My Morning Jacket. You had Warren Haynes. You had Greg Allman, John Hyatt. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Eric Church. It was just like a 3-hour concert. But Grace Potter, she's a singer-songwriter female out of Vermont, came out and did a cover of the band's I Shall Be Released with just her on organ, a bass player, and a drummer. And at the end of the song, you could literally hear a pin drop amongst the 17,000 people in the audience. She literally was crying as she was singing the last words of the song out. You could hear her voice choking under the tears.
Yeah.
Getting that last I Shall Be Released. My father turned to me and he said, look, I've seen Hendrix live. I've never seen a performance like that song. And it's forever resonated with me. I'm actually getting goosebumps just telling the story because it means so much. You could easily find this version on YouTube. They have the video. I have the Blu-ray /DVD/CD box set of it because it was just such an amazing night. To be able to relive it anytime I want is fantastic. But highly, highly suggest if you're a fan of the band to check out Grace Potter's cover of I Shall Be Released from the Love for Levon show. It is, wow. That's
And
all
it's
I
so
can say.
amazing you were able to actually witness that in person. As great as that version is, you were there, and you, like you said, you get to relive it too. So that's awesome. So Brian, before we wrap up, first thing I want to do is see if we can get social media info for Playlist Wars, where folks can follow you on Twitter, Instagram, how they can subscribe to the show, all that good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, we're available on any podcasting platform. You can find us on iTunes or Apple Music, Spotify, Good Pods, Google, Amazon, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there. And on social media, if you go to Facebook or Twitter, you can find us at Playlist Wars. And on Instagram, we are at Playlist Wars Podcast. Unfortunately, Playlist Wars was taken by somebody else. But the place where we always like to send people is our main website, playlistwarspodcast.com. There you could listen to the episodes right on each episode's page, as well as listen to the music the three of us have each created on each of our playlists. We embed the playlists with the music for each of our choices, just in case you don't know a song and you want to hear it to decide how you're going to vote. You can listen to it and decide if you like that one or if you like something else. And that's where you do all the voting right there from the page.
Man, that's great. That's great. I'm going to go back and catch up on a lot of those other episodes and definitely subscribe to check that out in the future. Because that's, again, I just love the concept, and there's so many other topics that I just am anticipating you guys taking on at some point. So I'm really looking forward to that. One last thing, Brian, you're in a band, correct?
Yes, I am.
So let's tell everybody a little bit about your band and how maybe they can follow your band on social media as well.
Great. Well, that's Colburn and Company. I've been doing the singer-songwriters thing since 2007. I have several albums out on Spotify. If you look up Forever Was Worth the Wait is the last album I recorded. That was in 2012. It's been 9 years, but I've got 2 kids, and I think that says it all.
Sure.
Being an indie singer-songwriter, but BrianColburn.com, and on Twitter at Brian Colburn. I'm there. Kind of sometimes I'll post some covers that I do. I'm always talking music on that account as well. And also football. I'm a big New York Giants fan. But I've been putting out songs like that. And Colburn and Company is a group of amazing musicians that I've been friends with for a long time here in New Jersey. And we go out to different wineries and venues, and we do an evening of acoustic cover songs, but we don't do acoustic. We play them as a full rock band, but we play them acoustically. So songs that normally you wouldn't expect to hear acoustic with a violin player and a keyboard player and an acoustic guitarist, like Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds.
Yeah.
Down Under by Men at Work. Different songs like that normally aren't meant to be acoustic. We make acoustic and kind of rearrange it for the night, which is a lot of fun for us to kind of play songs that normally wouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And the people that come seem to enjoy it. So
awesome. Brian, thanks so much for being on. Again, everybody give Playlist Wars a listen. You're going to really enjoy it. And Brian, we'll talk to you again soon, my friend. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. And I hope sometime we'll be able to repay the favor and have you on for a battle with us on Playlist Wars, man. It'd be great to have you.
That would be awesome. I would love to do that.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's all in the mix.
Bye-bye, lardass.
Bend and Scoop is a production of Lukewarm Tallboy Studios.
We will return tomorrow morning with the sun.
Good evening, and have a good life.